The Justice Department is saying that it will not prosecute Merrick Garland for contempt of Congress. As you know, just this week, the House voted primarily on party lines to hold the Attorney General in contempt for failing to comply, in their view, or in House Republicans' view, with a congressional subpoena. And this all stems from these audio recordings of an interview between President Biden and Special Counsel Robert Hur over Biden's handling of classified documents. Lawmakers were already provided a transcript, but House Republicans really wanted that recording because they wanted to see if it was consistent with the transcript. But what the Justice Department is arguing here is that executive privilege was exerted over those recordings, which in their view was legally proper, that there was no real legitimate purpose.
Merrick Garland's office decided not to prosecute Merrick Garland because there was no legitimate purpose for why he was held in contempt. Welcome back to Mike Rock Uncensored. If you haven't done so already and you are enjoying the content, do me a huge favor, hit the like, subscribe, and follow button so that you can receive all the latest updates as soon as I make them available to you. I think we knew that this was going to happen, that since Merrick Garland was in charge of basically prosecuting himself, that he wasn't going to do it. And his reasons for it basically line up with why the Democrat side of the House didn't want him held in contempt in the first place. They don't see a need to give up the audio tapes. But instead of making all of these arguments about why they should or why they shouldn't, because if you listen to it, they spend 10% of the time telling you why they don't want to give up the audio tapes and 90% of the time telling you why Trump is such a bad man and why this is nothing more than a political prosecution as opposed to a legitimate request. But the thing is it is a legitimate request. We know that there are lies that have gone back and forth. We also know that the House by law is entitled to that audio recording. They're arguing that they did provide the written transcript, but that the president invoked executive privilege, which is why they don't have to give up the audio. But by law, when they provided the written transcript, the president waived his right to executive privilege. All they want to do is confirm that the written transcript matches up with the audio version of what was said in that interview with Robert Hur. But they don't want to give them that. And it begs the question why. If we just remove your reasoning behind all this, you're saying you're afraid that the Republicans are going to take that audio recording and they're going to snip it and use it in their campaigns against Biden. What did Biden say that makes you believe that they could use that in a campaign on behalf of Trump and against Biden? What's in there? The other thing is if you're really that afraid, if that is the real reason and they're entitled to hear that audio recording, then maybe you should set something up to where both sides can hear the recording and you can agree that no part of this recording may be edited out, that if you're going to play the audio recording, you have to play it in its entirety or at least within its full context, meaning both sides can look at what you're about to print out or what you're about to make available to the public, and they can decide whether it was given in the right context. I don't know how you would do it, but there are so many different ways that this could play out where you do abide by the law. Instead, Merrick Garland has basically said, I've decided that this is the law. I've decided that regardless of what the law says, there is no legitimate purpose for providing you with this audio tape. You're going to have to basically fight me for it. So the question now becomes, what's next? You've been held in contempt. You've decided not to prosecute yourself. What's next? And I think that's a question that the House needs to answer immediately, because if you decide to wave this off and say, hey, well, we won that moral victory, that we've got him in contempt, but there's really nothing we can do beyond that, that's not good enough for us. You're basically telling us that you are powerless to do anything for the people on behalf of the people when we know something is wrong in this country. You're telling us that the Democrats have already won, that they are in a position to screw us over whenever they feel like it. But I hear this thing called inherent contempt of Congress, where the House can now find him in inherent contempt of Congress. I don't know exactly how that would apply. But if they do that and they vote to do that, then they can arrest Merrick Garland themselves because they can't trust his department to do their job appropriately. So we'll wait and see if that's what they do. Anyways, I'll keep you guys up to date. I just really hope that they don't decide to just let this go as if that's about all they can do, because what you're telling us is that you can actually do nothing except acknowledge that there was some form of wrongdoing. We need access to those audio tapes because I really believe there's only two things that could happen as a result of us hearing this audio tape. Either we're going to find out that they destroyed the evidence, which is going to put them in the light that they deserve to be in, or we're going to find out that the audio recordings don't match up with the written transcript, which is what they don't want us to know, because it's going to prove the lengths that they're willing to go through, the lies that they're willing to tell in order to manipulate and deceive the people here in this country. You guys have a great rest of your day. I will see you guys again in the next video. Peace.